My name is Akira Horii, and everybody calls me Aki instead of Akira. I was born in 1931, so I'll be 93 in a few weeks' time. So I would say that growing up in Vancouver as a child, I didn't know what racism was. These days, Japanese Canadians we were about 50% of the school. And we never heard the word Jap. And then the Second World War started. The teacher taught us how to knit socks and how to make beautiful quilts. And we bought war stamps, and we sent the socks and quilts to London to help the suffering kids in Great Britain. And then December 7, 1941, Japan bombed Pearl Harbor. And then the world changed. It turned upside down for Japanese Canadians. All of a sudden, we had to quit school. Before Pearl Harbor, I was in grade 5 in Lower Strathcona Elementary and grade 5 at the Vancouver Japanese Language School on Alexander Street. And then, so when the war started with Japan, we all had to quit school. There was a curfew from dusk to dawn, and on January 14th, 1942, they signed an order in council that all Canadians of Japanese ancestry were now labeled enemy aliens, and we were going to be shipped inland, taken away from the west coast of British Columbia inland, a minimum distance of 100 miles or 160 kilometers. And so this is what happened. The people who got interned, the majority, about 22,000 Japanese Canadians, they went to government-supported internment camps. Other small group, about 2,500 people, went to self-supporting internment camps. And the story I heard was that each family had to have about $1,800 to be self-supporting, because now you had nothing to do with government. And my parents decided to go to one of these camps, and it was East Lillooet. So we boarded a Union steamships in Cole Harbor and went up to Squamish, and then boarded a train at Squamish for the PGE, the Pacific Great Eastern Railway, and Squamish was the terminus, southern terminus for the PGE. So it's now the BC Railway, which comes all the way to North Vancouver. But so we boarded the train, overnight train, to the town of Lillooet. And I got up in the morning, and we were surrounded by mountains, and I thought, oh, gee, this is where we're going to live. And I thought, maybe it won't be so bad living in this little town called Lillooet. But to my surprise, we were all put in the back of a truck and taken 4 miles across the Fraser River to this settlement called East Lillooet. And the houses were still under construction. There was no drinking water, no electricity, and so there was no employment. Because of discrimination, we were not allowed into the town of Lillooet. The first year, there was no job, so this photograph, this is my dad here, but this group went on the back of a truck to Vernon to pick apples in the fall, I guess around September, October, to make a few dollars, because there was no work. And we grew all the vegetables, and especially vegetables that will last into the fall and winter, like potatoes and onions and gobo, even gobo, and things like that. And then to being the oldest, the Japanese custom of the oldest son has to help out the family. So when the school ended at 3 o'clock or so, or a little after 3, I would find a part-time job. So at least they gave me some money. And so I was always the last person to come bicycle back to East Lillooet after school. December 48, so I was still in grade 12. I was appointed by the high school with another classmate, Caucasian boy, to attend a UBC high school conference. And to come back to my birthplace, Vancouver, I had to get a RCMP permit because I'm not allowed on the coast. And then Joe Hurley and I, one evening, went to a movie, and we were walking home on East Hastings Street to his cousin's home where we were staying. And a Vancouver policeman spotted me, and he was walking the beat, and he, I guess, recognized me as Japanese rather than Chinese. So he said, "What are you doing here?" And I said, "I'm attending a conference." And I had to show him the permit from Lillooet, that I've got a special permit to come to Vancouver. More towards the end of my working career, I got interested in talking about the internment and racism, and I started talking to students, elementary, high school, university, college students, and I just last week gave my 90-second talk. I said before I leave this planet that I hope I get to give 100 talks. My story to you was that the Vancouver Sun and these politicians, they wanted the excuse of the war. They were happy to use the excuse of the war to get rid of all the Japs from BC. What the Vancouver Sun wrote, and that man, the journalist who interviewed me here, John Mackey, he wrote an article in the Vancouver Sun, and this is dated March 2015, Vancouver Sun. Okay, so this is what John Mackey wrote about this week in history, 1942. And the editorial page of the Vancouver Sun, way back during the war, John Mackey found this quote, and I'll read this paragraph. So, quote, "The Sun has repeatedly pointed out that during 50 years of Oriental immigration to this continent, British Columbia has consistently fought against the Japanese infiltration, and just as regularly we have been overruled by Ottawa," it stated. Quote, "Now, for excellent military reasons, the Japanese are being moved inland. Can anyone blame us if we hope that by May Day we shall have seen the last of them and for all time? We shall have to admit that we are gladly using a necessity of the war to give us a solution, a permanent solution, if possible, of an immigration that was thoroughly distasteful and objectionable," end of quote. So that tells you all that he's saying that the editorial, that they used the military, the war with Japan, as an excuse to get rid of all the Japanese Canadians from the province of British Columbia. Professor at UBC, Asian Studies, I think. I met him, and he said if the internment of the Japanese Canadians occurred right now, it would be called ethnic cleansing, because they were trying to make sure that all people of Japanese ancestry were to be chased out of the province of British Columbia. I tell the students also that you find racism in the most unexpected places, and it'll never go away. You'll find racism anywhere, and even I was shocked that even at a doctor's meeting, this one doctor talked about, he used the word Japs about a dozen times in his talk, and I couldn't sleep for a whole month thinking about it. And at the next meeting, I got up and I really blasted him, and he apologized. So it can occur anywhere. I don't think there'll be like a Japantown. Interesting, the Japanese Canadian community is spread all over Canada, and the Niseis, my generation, our parents expected us to marry a Nisei, but we have 4 children, 3 boys and a girl, and all of them married non-Japanese. So the 4th generation, or the third, my children's generation, they have the highest interracial marriage, like over 90%. So with the redress money, part of the redress money was used to build the Nikkei Center. Japanese restaurants and stores scattered, and but there won't be a concentration. For Japanese immigrants, it might be nice, But my children and my grandchildren can't speak Japanese. My one granddaughter studied Japanese in grade 12, so she could speak some Japanese, but they don't speak Japanese, so I think it's going to be that way.